everyone. Welcome to our best practice forum from Qorus community, digital reinvention community. I'm Roberto Ferrari. I'm the leader of the community, supported by our team. And the idea of today, welcome again, everybody. There are coming more people. The idea of today is to really talk through what's happening to the branches, what's the role, what's the future role of the branches, considering the transformation of that digitalization is bringing on. We all know that banks and financial services have been built across, I would say, the centuries, across, I mean, really around the concept of retailing and branches and personal relationship. And now digitization is posing a great challenge to all this model. I mean, on what kind of retailing financial services and banks should really have, and how this works together with digital channels and the new consumer habits. So that's basically the topic of today. We'll be discussing, as we usually do, with some of your colleagues which are working on specific projects and which are leading specific projects in this area. The idea, as you know, is to share cases, thoughts, insights, learnings, having a discussion which is also interactive. And this is very important, as really at the very core of our community is the fact that we want to share know-how, we want to share knowledge, learnings, but also we want to have interaction, people getting to know themselves, each other. And this is a great community made of more than 200 people. And so I'm really happy that we can have now this actually more than 300 people, actually 350 people from over 170 institutions. And today I'm really happy that we have a very good range of speakers and from different countries, regionally speaking, geographically speaking, from different countries, from different banks, different types of banks and institutions with different cases. So I think that today's session is going to be very, very, very rich. So we will be going through 4 cases, basically, from KBC, from East Bank, from KB, and a chat and a point of view with Standard Chartered Bank as well. Now, before introducing you the speakers and let the show start, just a couple of rules which are very important. First of all, this is a video recorded session, so that you could find it then when in the next coming days. You can also find the video on our website in order to see all the event if you wish, and share it with your colleagues and so on. As I said, this is supposed to be interactive and lively, so there are different ways you can do that. There is the chat. You can use the chat button. You can raise your hand, and at the end of each single presentation, if you want, you can make some questions. So I can moderate those ones and transfer them to the speakers and talk about them. At the end of all the presentations, so at the very end of the day of the webinar, there will be a dedicated Q&A session where that's the agenda, a collaborative session with the wrap-up where I hope there will be more questions from the audience coming, and we'll be discussing a little bit about the learnings that we have been seeing from the previous presentation. So let's get started, because content is the king. And let's start with the first those are the speakers. We're gonna introduce them one by one as we go with the presentation. So the first one is gonna be Wim van Hellemont, the General Manager of Transformation and Channels of KBC Bank. Kim, I think your presentation is really talking, I mean, across digitalization versus branches. So I leave it to you to explain how we can blend the digital capabilities with the human touch, which is one of the big questions the industry has got, actually.
Yes. Hi, good morning, everyone, and I'll share my screen. I've prepared a few slides. But maybe let's first explain my title because that already provides part of the answer. So I'm responsible for transformation and channels means not only the digital channels but also the human channels. And the human channels, what we do there is in my directorate, we also govern all system and architecture that is provided not only for our mobile applications and our digital communication channels with the clients, but also all systems and architecture that is used in the branches. And that allows us actually to build a strategy that perfectly blends our strategy towards our branches with the digital competences that we build for our mobile and Gate. If we just to explain a little bit who KBC is, so KBC is present as a group in 5 domestic countries, mainly in Belgium and then the Central European countries, Slovak Republic, Czech Republic, Bulgaria, and Hungary. So these are what we call our core markets. Our strategy is really on being a bank insurance company. So we're an integrated bank insurance company, and that's also completely present in our digital approach. In the digital approach, we also blend these two financial branches into each other. We still have 420 branches in Belgium, so it's still a broad network. It has reduced, like almost any bank over the past few years, where we've built a concentration of larger branches in the cities with more concentrated competences for our experts in those branches, and where more and more of the general and more common banking applications and products have been moved to digital services. You see it also in the logos down here. The logos are placed specifically in an order. So Kate, our digital assistant, which is present in our mobile application, which has become present now recently also in our business application, and which soon will also make its entrance on KBC website, will basically is a digital assistant that has the objective of unburdening as much as possible all frictions in processes that we have with clients. And that in a perfect interaction with our different channels. So the mobile as a first channel for our clients. We promote towards retail clients as a digital first bank, but still with a broad branch network. Our KBC Live, which is the contact center, you can see that as a central branch with more than 500 people that perfectly integrate with Gate communication, and I'll give you a bit of flavor on how that works a little bit later. And then as a last resort, we also still have our branches, of course, where we will welcome all our clients. But the real objective is, and that's something we built in all our processes, is that the client goes through that flow. That his first contact is Kate, and that when the digital assistant cannot help you, you will basically be supported in not only contacting our live center, but also making your appointments with the branch specialists directly from our digital assistant. And that's already one way where we kind of blend in the digital with the branches. Another example here that I can give is when you start a certain conversation in your digital assistant, and one way or another, or the digital assistant cannot help you, or you're stuck in your conversation, a client can immediately connect through to the live center, where they can perfectly follow the conversation that you had with the digital assistant, and the person who is on the line can directly pick up from the conversation where it was left. So the client doesn't need to repeat all of the things that he has been doing in conversation with the digital assistant. He can perfectly start from the live center. It works in both directions. So your digital assistant has a perfect overview of what your product possession is and all of the features that are related to that product possession, so that we know that when a client is asking certain questions related to a product he has or a product he owns, then automatically the digital assistant can already feed in personalized responses to that client. And that's our core objective on. Sorry, was there a question? So when the digital assistant is basically trying to support you, the objective we have is that by the end of the year, 70% of all questions that the client has need to find an answer, and an answer in this regard is much more than this is what you're looking for. It's really guiding the client through the process. In some occasions, the digital assistant is fully able to help you without ever having to go to the original screen in the mobile. So in a full conversational mode, you can transfer money. You can just talk to the mobile and say, hey, Kate, please transfer me some money to this person. And then automatically she will execute the whole transfer for you. In more complex processes, what we will do, we will guide the client and drop him off exactly at the process where he needs to be, and try to then have processes that work fully STP. Another example of that, and that's where you see how banking and insurance is fully integrated in the mobile, is when a client has a car accident and he wants to file his accident, he can fully do that in a digital way. And every step of the process can be guided. He takes some pictures, automatically uploaded, and based on those pictures, we have AI models that already can assess what kind of damage that the car has and how the process needs to be treated further. So the digitization is embedded in the whole end-to-end chain. I talked about both ways. It works in both ways. I suppose a client is stuck and he has a problem and he calls the live center or he revisits the branch. Then the first guiding principle that we have is the answer available in the digital assistant? And that means that we have built into the CRM system analysis check based on product possession and based on the questions that the client has already asked, an analysis whether can we help the client in a digital way. And then we will help basically, whilst talking to the client, bring the client in a do-it-himself process with the digital assistant. And already there, that's also integrated. That means that the employee who is in the branch or the employee who's in the live contact center will automatically also see what the client has been doing in his digital assistant whilst he's on the phone, which means that he can perfectly follow the logic that the client is doing on realizing his question or trying to find an answer in the mobile. But what does it tell you? Skip the slides. So that's Kate. I talked a lot about Kate. There's a clear objective also how we present Kate. It's there to save you time and money. If you can find the answer there, then it's probably quicker than going to a branch and probably quicker than also providing you or going to calling to the contact center. A second thing that Kate also will do is it will provide you efficient guidance on how you can make your life cheaper with a lot of life hacks. So giving you insights on your spending, giving you insights on your your expenses, giving you insights on your income, also giving you ability to assess, and that's also on other parts, and I'll come to that in how you organize and make your house more CO2 efficient. So we have processes built on that. So the real conceptual idea is how can we help clients in making their life cheaper as well? So that's part of the concept that is built on Kate with various examples that we have there. It doesn't mean that we completely move away from the branches. That's also not the strategy. But the strategy is really to have core experts for important life moments of the client. Because there are certain moments, and that's what we still see. Just to give as an example, a mortgage is rarely sold digitally. There is a full digital process, but these are types of moments that the client will still want to talk to a person in a physical person. And for those moments, we will have fewer branches, and that's the process we've been having over the past years. Fewer branches localized in cities near to where people live. So there's the travel distance has increased a little bit, but the branches are bigger in size on average, with more experts and more experts on specific domains, and less focus on what we call the general broad daily banking products. Branches are still an important element for your brand reputation. So, and also there, I don't think that this is going to disappear soon. Being visible in the streets is just still part of a strategy for which you have your branches and have accessibility to your clients. For more remote distances, and also for, let's say, our clients who are who have lower mobility, we've introduced the Kate Mobile, who will basically come to your house and help clients. What we see, and that's a bit coming back, there are certain complex processes which you can digitize, which you can bring in STP flow, but there are still quite a number of moments in life where the client will basically want to see you. The mortgages was one, all processes related to life and death. For instance, it's unfortunate moments, but those are moments that the client will still want to visit your branch. We also digitize those processes, but that's more to help the client bring into a frictionless environment than really because we don't than giving the signal that we don't want to see the client, that the client needs to do it physically himself. So how can we further unburden the client in that piece of his process? Crisis moments, and unfortunately they still happen more often than we think and than we want. Probably it was in a lot of European media, but the Belgian state launched at the end of August a T-bill, targeted very specifically to private clients, a private individual. It was so successful, they converted 5% of the government debt with the launch of this T-bill, targeted. So we had in the whole of our history, we never had so many clients calling. We had never had so many clients visiting us, and we had never had such a storm on clients willing to buy this T-bill. And at that moment in time, you also want to blend perfectly your digital process, where we've built last-minute conversational talks in Kate, providing information, but also you want to unburden your network, your KBC Live contact center, and on those moments, you just know that you need your branches. So for those crisis moments, I think the branches will still have a very important role to play in the future. You can digitize as much as you can, but in crisis moments, your clients want to see you. So in that future, we believe the branches will still be playing a very important role. And then lastly, and that's what we see in ecosystem development, There is, of course, the ambition of having, in the European Union, of having by 2050 CO2 neutral housing. It's a theme on which we are playing also by creating ecosystems with other companies, and where we want to have seamless integration, not only on the mobile side, but also with our branches. And I'll maybe give the example here of Settle. Settle is a company in which we participated that calculates renovation cost for housing. So it gives you an easy renovation cost overview of the efforts you need to do to make your house more CO2 efficient. It seamlessly integrates with our mortgage process. So if you buy a house which has a low energy effectiveness, you can use the app to calculate what kind of renovation cost you will have to do to make your house more energy efficient. That report that comes out of that application will basically support the mortgage process, so that you can not only buy your mortgage to buy the house, but also already get funding for your renovation that you will need to have to do. The report can be generated fully digitally by the client, but will also be available for the branches, so that they can also go into more in-depth discussions with the client on how to approach the renovation and the approach to take in making their house more energy efficient. And also there we're taking next steps in going even one step further. So not only making or giving an idea on how we can what kind of renovations the client needs to do to make his house more energy efficient, but also provide connections and direct support in performing the renovation itself. So that's and there you see that again in the process of a mortgage, it's very important that you integrate the digital component of that process and how you give information back on where a client is in a certain part of his renovation process, with physical support in the branch. So the data flow that you need between your digital process and your branch information that the branch employees have needs to be perfectly integrated to seamlessly have a frictionless experience for your clients. I think this is a kind of the core of our approach. So I think the key essence of it is an end-to-end integration, STP processes, and a two-directional communication between what we discuss on the digital side with the client and what the branches actually see when they talk physically to the client.
Okay, Wim, thank you very much. I mean, it's clear that you're undergoing a major transformation driven by your digital, let's say, core, which goes across the channels. One of the things I wanted to ask you is that people, the customer journeys, they change every time. They depend on the products. You rightly said that you're focusing more on the advisory part and less on the transactional side on your branches, for instance. So my one question is if you manage to have also a good recording, of all the digital conversations. If your people at the branches, if a customer comes to your branch and has spoken maybe to a chat or to a person into remote customer service, do the people of your branches have full knowledge of what was going on with your own customer via, from other channels? So do they have a full picture? Do you manage to have that? Is it complicated from a technological standpoint in terms of orchestration, multi-channel orchestration?
Yeah, so you have actually you can see this as 4 different environments we have. You have Kate as a conversational component. You have your bank branches, the insurance agents, and the live contact center. And for every communication in any of those channels, actually all information is provided in the CRM system. The CRM system for the bank branches, where they can cover basically insurance and banking products, but also if it's insurance related to the insurance agent, that is tied to the bank branch where the client is residing. So a client can be a client with an insurance agent, a bank branch, and that means the bank has a full overview of all conversations that is held in any of the channels, both digitally by the agent or by the bank branch itself. If the contact center takes over, then they also have the full picture view. So any conversation that is started digitally will be fully found back in the CRM system of the branch.
And how long did it take to you to get to this level of orchestration?
I think we started I think we started 4 or 5 years back with Kate, and at that time, and around the same time, we started building the new CRM platform. So the CRM platform, the insurance agent, and the banking is 2 different environments, but on the same platform. So they share the same data.
Okay.
And that's key, I think. The key component of all your integrations is to have a seamless data integration between your different channels. So a large, I would say, even the biggest effort we have is making a big data lake where all your data is available. When I mentioned, for instance, the renovation report, the key goal is that all the most important data points of the renovation report are also available in the data lake, because then you can use it back to create leads to your branches. You can create digital leads. You can follow up where a client has, how does it link with the products that he has built. And you can really personalize your full approach also on the digital side to your customers. And that's really important. And that's also part of the contractual agreement that we've made with our clients, is that in any way how we approach him in terms of we call convenience, where we help and support him, or even in marketing, our commitment is that we will make it very personalized based on the data that we have of the client. And yes, I see there a question in the chat that also relates, of course, to personal finance management.
Yeah, exactly. The question is if Kate gives financial planning advice to clients.
Yes, yes. So what I therefore we work together with a data company where we integrated, and that means that Kate will give you actually insights literally on your expenses. So not only do you have a dashboard where you see how your expenses have evolved over time, and for instance, giving you insights on how much do you spend on shopping, how much do you spend on mobility, how much do you spend on housing, and what the trend of that is in your personal expenses. But we also give the client tips on how he can save money. A good example is we give you insights on your energy consumption. So we also have an integration of with data points of the energy consumption of a client's house. We can see if clients allow us and they want to see, and they have additional tools for that in the application as well, to monitor their energy consumption in the house. But it also means we can give them tips on how can you save money. And with data models, we can see, and we can quite accurately estimate what kind of energy consumption a client has, how it compares to his peers, and where he can improve.
Okay, that's cool.
So
that's cool, and it's a good way of using artificial intelligence in a how can I say, pragmatic way for the customer. Definitely, you bring value to to their daily life. So thank you very much. We can talk more about that in the final conversations. Thank you, Wim, very much. And we are going to the second case from East Bank, from Yasmin Aykac. Yasmin, I leave it to you, because your presentation is quite really rich of the type of researches and insight you're looking to in order to really reshape what you're doing. So I think for the audience also would be very interesting to listen to you. I leave it to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Yasemin Aykaç. I'm working as Next Generation Working Model Tribe Leader for İşbank. Today, I will talk about our next generation lifestyle space, İşmekan. First, I want to tell you about İşbank. İşbank was founded by Atatürk in 1924, who is the founding father of modern Turkey. We have a journey of nearly 100 years from traditional banking to digitization. Here are some milestones of our history. İşbank was the first nationally owned private sector bank when founded. By 1932, we were the first Turkish bank with international branches. By 1950s, we began developing subsidiary portfolio. We launched Turkey's first branded ATM, Bankamatik, in 1982. By 1997, we started Turkey's first online banking webpage, isbank.com.tr. In 2007, our mobile banking app İşcep was launched, and by 2018, our personal assistant Maxi started serving our customers. It's something like Kate, but not integrated to our CRM system. If we take a look at İşbank at a glance, we are an international organization, but mainly operating in Turkey. Our international network covers 34 branches and 4 representative offices that are present in 11 different countries, such as UK, Germany, Russia. We have a widespread network in Turkey. We have with more than 1.1K branches and 6.2K ATMs. We have a net worth of 1.9 trillion Turkish lira. We have approximately 20 million customers and 21K employees and 14.5 million digital customers. And I want to tell you about digital transformation by phases, as we see. The journey began with electronic banking in 1980s. In this period, mainly customers were served at branches, cash rolling from ATMs were possible. And online banking phase began with 1995. The main difference was internet branches. Web-based banking became available. By 2007, mobile banking phase began and digital transactions accelerated. We call 2015 and 2020 years digital banking phase. Omnichannel banking started. Innovations like blockchain changed the way we understand business. Since 2020, we are at neo-banking phase. We implemented digital onboarding processes, started platform banking, invisible banking, and building ecosystems are more important than ever. And COVID-19 brought a significant speed of digitization. These are some statistics of banking and e-commerce sectors before and after the pandemic. In these graphics, we see 2 times acceleration in digital active banking customers and digital product sales, and 3 times acceleration in e-commerce within retail sales. So after pandemic, life is something different. And as İşbank, our service model is mainly located in branches. The majority of our branches are mixed, and we have commercial and corporate branches as well. We serve with advanced digital services. We have remote service model for digital customers that do not prefer to go to branches. We serve with remote relationship managers and remote product specialists. Our direct sales teams serve on site, and we have other channels like ATMs and our call centers. As I mentioned, through pandemic, digitization accelerated hugely. Gizem, can you the next slide, please? So the branch of the future is designed as a physical place where digital digital services are integrated. In today's branch, customers can have a queue number from the mobile app before coming to the branch and get the service without waiting on the lines. Processes are paperless, like digital contracts. We have biometric signatures, e-signatures, and the transactions can go online completely. And we have new technologies like paper robot, no-name instant debit and credit cards, mobile OCRs. So getting a service in a branch is a hybrid operation with both digital and in person. And remembering in the digital world, human touch is still valuable. So we have mobile employees like remote relationship managers and direct sales teams. Cash transactions are mainly handled with ATMs in branches to certain limits. So we have more time for building relationship with our customers. And we realized that digital transformation could not only be held by digital innovations, but we need to consider our customers' needs, recognizing the value of our branches. So we emphasize the new purpose of branches as community building spaces. Here we have a short video of our new contact point, İş Mekan, which we created with this aspect. İş Mekan is a life-led destination for our customers. In the beginning of the project, we needed to find a meaning for our physical contact points, which are mainly our branches. Since many of our customers went highly digital, they didn't prefer to go to our branches anymore. So building with relationship with customers with improved digital banking habits and weak branch connection, creating a sustainable model that can be established according to different needs of different customer segments, allowing a seamless visitor journey with the İş Mekan app. And of course, we want to be a part of our customers' life cycle. And I want to tell you about our project phases. We had the project kickoff with customer research. With the insight from the research, we created 3 personas. We set interactive workshops with our related division heads, and with the understanding of the personas' needs, we decided the functionalities of the place. We decided the brand identity with a collective study and created customer journeys. With İş Mekan, we aimed transforming our relationship with customers by serving as a community hub. İş Mekan provides an environment for people to work, have a cup of coffee, socialize, take part in creative events, shop books or electronics. We have a space with our digital banking services inside İş Mekan, and our Nişantaşı branch is on the 2nd floor. There's a corner of our publications companies, İşbank Cultural Publications, with its wide selection of books. The first physical store of Pazarama, which is our recently launched e-commerce shopping platform, and the third generation coffee named Coffee Department, with a freshly brewed selection of coffees from around the world, along with delicious snacks. Besides these, we have 4 private meeting rooms, a big office area, and a couple of lounge areas with for different types of needs. Various events from children's workshops to stand-up shows, events for special days are held there. And we share all these events, all these information within our app. So this is a ecosystem with 10 of our subsidiaries and our business partner, Coffee Department. One of the main reasons that this project came alive is the need and desire to build a connection between the digital and physical touch with our customers. So to complete the communication with the customers and support the processes in the physical space, we also launched a mobile app for İşmekan. Our visitors can make a reservation for the private meeting rooms of their choice, learn about the variety of events that will happen at the space, and buy or reserve tickets for the events. Since İşmekan is a life-led destination and we aim to build a community, we share the life and events in İşmekan via social media. With this QR code, you can access İşmekan app and social media accounts. And here I have some pictures of İşmekan. Here you see the exterior view. It's in Nişantaşı, in the heart of Istanbul, I can say. The entrance and House of Samsung area. This is a different angle from the same area. Can you see it? This is the İşbank Cultural Publications area. We have a variety of books here. And this is our Pazarama, the shopping area. And on the left side, you can go up to the branch with the steps. And here's our little coffee shop. This is our banking area. We have both online banking and some relationship managers from the branch to talk about our products and services. Here is the lounge area. We have our events here. People come and study here, work. The students come and study or have little meetings in these cubicles. This is a picture of our meeting room. It's a cozy place. And the bigger meeting room, which we have both events and larger meetings. And you can see our İşmekan application, the view of the application. You can book for meeting rooms or book for our events. This is our İşmekan. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Yasemin. And I have a question, then there is a question from the chat, but the first question is from myself. See, given the fact that you are really building something totally new, in different shades, also with different partners, and I mean, if I look at the models, they are very different, no, from the existing, let's say, traditional models. But you have a registration process through the app, the booking process through the app, etc. How is it going in terms of customer acceptance and booking via the app if they come to the new branches? I wouldn't call them branches anymore, I mean, to the new spaces. So how is it really the customer reaction to that?
Actually, people get fond of the new area of İşmekan, and we have some continuously coming customers. People come at 8 o'clock to have a seat on the cubicles that I showed you, the blue cubicles, and study all day long there. And our İş Kültür Publications company is a very well-known company in Turkey. They have some really good customers, loyal customers, and people got fond of it. We haven't had any pull for the customers yet. İşmekan is really brand new, but we want to make a research about the customers' experiences. But we see some interactions in social media, which people themselves share their thoughts and beliefs about İşmekan, and we get very, very good reviews with them.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, and now a more pragmatic question, which is from Peter Elek from the chat. How do you incentivize the remote relationship managers? So the point is more how you can incentivize the salespeople in this type of environment.
Actually, we don't have remote relationships in İşmekan. Remote relationships are working remotely, actually. They are for the people who do not prefer to go to the branches, but need to talk to a banker about the banking services or the products. So we match our digital customers, fully digital customers, and we see that they don't prefer going to the branches, and we assign them to the relationship managers. We make a portfolio of digital customers and assign with relationship managers. That's a completely different service here, completely different than İşmekan. In İşmekan, we aim to make a physical connection with our digital customers who do not like to go to the branches, and remote relationship managers forms a connection remotely. It's a different model, a different service model.
Okay, and from WIM actually, there's a question: how many branches do you have with this concept? So, and then it's an initial phase. It's
Yes.
going to be rolled out more broadly.
It's an initial project. We have only one İşmekan for now, but we plan to go to different places of Istanbul and maybe to other cities in Turkey.
Okay, and do you already have, there's a question from Michael, do you have already a KPI scorecard? So how do you measure success in these offices? So what are your KPIs?
We will have a research project about İşmekan. We will get the return of social integrity study, and I think we will go and build a KPI out of this research, and we will follow the İşmekan functionality with that research.
Okay. Okay. I think that's clear. So thank you very much for your presentation and from your very innovative project, and all the luck to this project. It's really intriguing.
Thank you.
We'll see, and we'll stay in touch with you and see. Anyway, we have the final session at the end. There will be more questions. Let's go to Miroslav from KB of Societe Generale. Miroslav is the Senior Executive Director of Retail and Corporate Banking, is working in KB in Czech Republic with a great project undergoing on branches reinvention. And so I leave it to you, Miroslav, to go ahead and explain us what you're doing specifically on this matter.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you just confirm that you see my presentation at the moment?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, give me a second. There's something happening with my device, but it will be just a minute. Okay, it should be fine now.
Yeah.
So, good morning, everyone from Prague, from the capital of the Czech Republic. And let me start by saying that after Yasmin gave a very nice and very interesting presentation, for the sake of a change, I'll talk mainly about a nightmare. And the name of the nightmare is replacement of core banking system, because usually if there's something bankers really don't want to go through is replacement of a core banking system. But I'll not talk just about the nightmare, but about what we do to try to convert it into a major business opportunity and what are our lessons learned. And I try to limit very much my number of slides to give you also some practical insights and things that we now believe can be quite valuable for the others. So let me start by speaking a bit about who we are. So we are a bank number 3 in the Czech Republic. We are part of Societe Generale. Societe Generale, the French-based group, having 60% of shares, 40% being held by minority shareholders. We have approximately 1.7 million clients on a market that is 10 million inhabitants in terms of the size. When I say 1.7, it's a bank standalone. It's 2.5 million for the group, if you are comparing it to the KBC figures who you saw just a few minutes ago. 7,000 employees, and we are serving all kinds of segments and providing all kinds of products. When I say all kinds of segments, starting from mass retail, customers going up to private banking, but also on business side, going up to the large corporations and to multinationals. And we have quite good profitability, cost income, return on equity, but there are a few buts that I'll speak about just now. And who am I? I am part of the board of the directors in charge of the retail area. So I think there was a slight typo in my function. I have no ambition to extend my competencies toward the corporate part. I have enough on my plate in retail, as you will see quite soon. First thing I'd like to say, we are an incumbent bank with decades of history, which is on one hand bringing us quite decent franchise with our clients and long-term relationship. On the other hand, as I would say, most of the banks of this type, this represents quite a lot of mess in products, in processes, in architecture, I mean, on technology side, and a lot of things that are making the bank, I would say, quite not really flexible and difficult and costly to maintain. When I said nightmare, we reached the conclusion that we would have to replace the core banking system like 3 years ago, one day, because we learned that somehow it can continue for a few more years, but there's no way to keep it in the air for long term. And then once you say replacement of core banking system, you can imagine all those billions spent, all those years it takes, and all those sleepless nights. And we said, okay, so if this is the case and we have to, let's try to convert it into an opportunity and let's do something really good with the bank. And we took it as an opportunity for the major cleanup. And this is where the whole story of new digital bank, of the whole new digital bank started. I'll try to move the slide because I'm not sure it will work perfectly well. So the new digital bank, we call it new digital bank, but it's far more than just digital bank, as we are still having our branch network of approximately 200 branches. So we have quite decent physical footprint, and I'm still coming back to our 10 million inhabitants as the market, so 200 branches there. And we don't do just the digital space, but we also very much believe in the combination of human beings and technology serving our clients on distance. So when we say new digital bank, it's basically converting our business into something new. And the something new is we are building a new bank from the scratch, completely new one, incrementally growing its size, adding functionalities and products. And we plan, and we have started already in gradual migration of all our business to the new platform. So it will take a few years, definitely, but at the end, we will just take the current bank and throw it to the bin, and we will have migrated all our business and clients to the new platform. When you look at the slide in front of you, I'll
Yes. What is the new digital bank? This is what we see.
Yes, if you look at it, I have a few slides later, a point on omnichannel experience and simplification of product portfolio. I'll stop here for digitization of processes, saying that everything we design at the moment, we design mobile first. Probably something obvious, but it was not the case so far. And you know how those old time processes look like. And second, everything we do in paperless. So in a few years, we will not even need printers in our branches, and we are telling our people already there. And all those traditional physical signatures are being replaced by the digital signature. And sometimes people argue, okay, if the client comes not having a smartphone or not having this and that, we have a solution for basically every situation. So paperless became quite a dogmatic principle of our new designs. Spending a few moments here on this slide. Business-driven change is something I'd like to highlight. I think that the break-even moment in our history was when we agreed that just business and IT are not competitors, but an ally, but are allies, like two co-pilots. And today we say that the whole transformation is business-driven and technology-enabled. We went for an agile at scale way of working. I will not spend much time here because it would take another quite significant chunk of time. But just saying that our team today are composed of business people as well as technology people. And sometimes even the border is being blurred a bit. So this is the first important statement. The second one, we opted for incremental delivery. So a year and a half, we started small. The new platform had like 5 users only and very basic functionalities. Today, we have 40,000 users, so we even started migrating our current clients to the new platform. And we have like 70 to 80% of functionalities that we need for the retail solution. Let me stop on the light green, simplification, because if I would take like one topic that we are obsessed by, it's simplification. We take this as an opportunity for cleanup. This is what I said. And we try to simplify everything. I'll give you a few examples. When we started, we had 10,000 products in our catalog. It's a bit technical description, but 10,000 items. In the new bank, we have less than 100. So we reduced the number by 99%. Look at the price list items for retail clients. There are more than 1,000 today. Some of them even a bit difficult to explain, to be very honest. In the new bank, it will be 40. So again, dramatic decrease of number of price list items. And a simple sentence telling our clients, dear client, if we are providing you a service and you don't see it on the price list, it's free of charge. And the third part, which is probably pink or purple, maybe great, is gradual migration. And this is to say that as we started small, the platform with very basic functionalities, we will be migrating our clients and the business in gradual way. Each time we have a product and functionality parity, we move part of the client there, and business migration. This is the slide that illustrated that. I erased the figures related to NBI because we don't share them, but we are quite open to show how it looks in terms of numbers of clients migrated. So the whole client migration takes approximately 3 years. It's in fact 2.5. We are starting from clients with very basic product portfolio and lower segments, and we are moving towards clients from higher segments and more complex products needs, ending up at top affluent client segment and at private banking clients. And you see that the top peak or top migration year is just ahead. So we have learned how to do it now. We are entering the phase where we will accelerate the migration process, and we will be reaching the top speed quite soon, ending up in 2025. So this is the way we do it. If you would ask me what are the benefits of this approach, I would say dramatic simplification of everything and redesign of the product offer of the processes of everything you do. So you can just build a bank from the scratch, which is a bit of a dream for every banker. What are the drawbacks? The first one, it takes time. So we have the parallel existence of two worlds for certain number of years. And when I say existence of two parallel worlds, it means that you are also funding it, which means that it takes the cost of having the two worlds for some time. And this is why you have to hurry up. Moving further, one of those principles I showed you on previous screens is truly omnichannel bank. When you look at the bank today, we have like mobile banking, internet banking. You can come to a branch, you can call our contact center. And in reality, at the moment, these are like 4 different banks. They look different, they feel different, they behave different. You have different processes and functionalities available here or there. In the new bank that we are building, we do everything just once. So it doesn't matter on the size of the screen. Is it a mobile? Is it an internet banking? You come to the branch, you come to the call or video call to the contact center. It's always one process and one set of functionalities. Even we went further, and this is what I'm really proud of, the front-end application that our relationship managers are using is identical to the front end that our clients are using. So basically anything you can do from your living room can be done when you come to a branch and can be done also on distance when you are getting in touch with our contact center. I'm showing you 2 screens. The right one on the screen is the one that is identical to the client interface. The left one, that is a bit of a blue and gray there, is our internal kitchen. This is the CRM, so 360 products to recommend, all the information about the clients. So these are like the 2 main applications that each relationship manager is using. This has quite a few interesting benefits. One of them, as of today, I'm spending half of our training capacity on methodology and processes explanation towards our front office people. Once things are as simple that the client is able to do the same from the living room, you don't have to explain methodology and processes, and you can reduce this immediately. And second, which is not that easy for the bank to digest, but it's very good for the company as such, is that once you go for this streamlining, the number of front office people that you need for serving the client can be very much reduced, which is bringing me back to the efficiency. Coming for 1 second back to where the story started, 6 years ago, our bank had 400 branches. Today we are at approximately at 200, so the number was reduced by 50%. And after we migrate the whole retail portfolio, and this is a public information, we will be reducing the size of the sales force and front office people by approximately 20 to 25%. So this is again something that should help us to be lighter. But once again, if I would highlight one important point, this is if you do this, if you have to replace your core banking system, I wouldn't go for big bang, bring a lot of risk and not giving enough opportunities for simplifying. I would go for incremental approach, using it as an enormous opportunity to do everything from the scratch. Modern technologies, connecting it to the old world, to what you have as strengths, and trying to build something that is much better than what we've had so far. And branches. two pictures. Pictures are always nice. So this is the new branch concept that is related to the new digital bank. And it's important to say that as we very much believe in omnichannel, a client who comes to the branch can basically recognize a lot of elements that he sees in his mobile, on his internet banking. The front end is there. When you are talking to a relationship manager, you see the screen and you are doing things on the screen that is identical to your web-based internet banking. And all of that is ready there. So what we have there is private zones equipped with LCD screens. All relationship managers equipped with notebooks, phone, and digital pen, so that they can or are able to service the customer in a fully digital way. I think one of those struggles is we will have branches for quite a lot of years. I very much believe in it, but how many and how big branches? The average size of the new branch after we convert it to NDB principles, it's like 50% lower. So the square meters we rent is one half of what we've had today. So for future, the question marks for strategic considerations is how many and how big. And if how many and how big will be further decreasing, how do we make it in a cost-efficient way? How do we treat it? So one of those things we are trying to do is to make these branches quite simple to reduce the size again, and even to close and move to some other location. So everything you see is quite close to being movable without significant cost incurred. So do I believe in future of branches? Definitely yes. I think human beings will be there. If there's one big but, my but is we see more and more clients on the Czech market having an appetite for, I want to speak to a human being, but I don't want to go anywhere. And this is why in our new banking platform, if you just push a button, you are starting a video call with your bank, you are reaching somebody in a second, and you are already fully authorized with such a strong authentication method that you can even conclude a contract on the screen, or you can carry out your payment transaction. And based on some researches we've done, it's quite significant portion of clients who say this is the best way for us. We do some self-service, but quite often we want to talk to a person. And if you give us an easy way, we will never come to your branch. We will just keep calling you and asking for advice. So I believe this is a third pillar, somewhere in the middle of those traditional one and the complete self-service. And it gives us also an advantage over those new fintech startups, new small agile banks who do just the digital non-assisted self-service way. So it was like a helicopter flight over the surface. There are definitely a lot of things that I could tell you more about the whole process, but I would rather open some space for discussion.
Thank you very much, Miroslav. I mean, it's very interesting because you're changing everything basically from the core banking, from the very core banking to the branches. So from the very back end to the very front end. And so I understand that this is going to be very well planned and heavy at the same time. One question from my side, and then we go to the questions from the audience, is in the previous case from Yasemin, we saw that they're opening up their own branch, let's call the new branches to business partners that can come from different types of businesses. So do you, in your new branches, larger branches, do you plan to have business partners opening up to business partners, or you will retain the basic banking, let's say, activities in the branches? That's only that.
You are opening quite an interesting area, Roberto. We feel that the overall sentiment in the Czech Republic is that our clients just don't want to be bothered by a bank. They want a bank to be running well in a reliable way on the background, making their life easy. So they don't want to be coming if they don't have to. They want things to just run smoothly so that they can live their lives. I think there's one small exception, and this is like pending topic, and this is small big clients, not large corporations. If we can somehow on local basis open the space also for our small business clients and partners so they can use the space for communities and meetings, And this is not yet like this is a question that doesn't have an answer. Nobody's doing it much on the Czech market, and this can be a move forward. But like I would compare it to now we are going through the elementary school and grammar school, and then we will move to the university. And this is probably the university topic that will be addressed in a year or year and a half.
Okay, I understand. Let's see the questions. One is from Peter again. What are the main KPIs of your new omnichannel strategy? Do you have clear KPIs? I mean, the top ones.
We run the bank by company OKRs, so key objectives basically, and the key objectives for retail transformation go to the usual set of client acquisition in digital space, client migration, revenues per client after it is migrated, activities of clients who are being migrated. So the whole focus and energy of the bank is somehow now rotating around the process of the migration to the new platform, making sure we don't incur too high migration losses because they can't be avoided, but we should limit them, and also making sure that clients who are moving to the new platform become active or are still active, and then that we are able to upsell a bit and increase the revenues per unit. So this is basically the main set of KPIs that is then distributed to all organizational units in the bank.
Okay. One more question from Caroline. What is the technology approach that you use to unify all the channels, web, mobile, all the interfaces?
Well, I'm not sure I'm able to go to much detail of technological approach, but basically everything we built, the core banking system is Temenos T24. So this is the supplier. And we are not just replacing the core banking system, but everything, meaning card management system, payment hub, for example, all the channels, part of the CRM. So basically we are building it all new. And the dogmatic principle is whatever we build just once. So every process is dogmatically built only once, and then it's propagated to all channels, including assisted and non-assisted channels at the same time. So this is the way we are designing the solution. Okay. And it is in the air already. It's not something in theory. It's up and running for a year, and it is in place.
And Dima is asking, is the new platform positioned as a new brand or not? And there was any previous mobile banking app? I suppose there was a mobile banking app before that.
Yes, there was, and quite well perceived by the clients. By the way, this is an excellent question, and the answer to the first part is no. This is not a new brand. We are calling it a new era of banking and a new era of Komerční banka, but this is still us. And as I said, we will gradually move all the business, clients, products, everything to the new platform, and we will just throw the old one to the bin under the same umbrella, the same legal entity, and the same brand. And the perception at the market for the moment is quite positive about the change, by the way.
Very last question. How have you managed to reduce the physical size of the branches? Was this because the old ones were simply too big? You have reduced footfall to the improved digital journeys, or simply better design?
Combination of all of that. So we are at 1/2 of number, and I said those few tens that are already converted are much smaller at the same location than they were before. And like we are renting one floor instead of 2 floors, or moving to another location because we just don't need the same space. And we are heavily decreasing the number of front office people, because even though we are growing in terms of business and number of clients, the processes are being streamlined every year a bit. And now there's the major change that is coming with clients moving to the new platform completely.
Okay. Thank you very much. I mean, Miroslav, very interesting, a very interesting case of a bank transforming itself from the roots, I would say, and without launching. That the question implied that there are very many other moments where a bank can launch a spin-off and make a transition to a spin-off. You are transforming yourself from the inside, so without the spin-off.
This is it.
Okay, okie dokie. Thank you very much. And let's go to the very last guest that we have, which is Kerem Kermabuk. Hello, Kerem. And
Hello.
hello, he's Global Head of Mobile Standard Chartered Bank. I don't know, Kerem, if at the end you have some charts or not. The idea is to have a final chat with you, on what you're doing on Standard Chartered Bank, in terms of what you're thinking also from Singapore, in terms of, you know, the transformation of the role of the branches, if we can still call them branches. And I'm personally also interested into the fact that your experience is global, but you're sitting in Singapore. Singapore is probably, I wouldn't say probably, it's definitely one of the most innovative places in financial services. So I'm really curious to see what are your insights and what you're doing on this.
Hi, Roberto. Hi, everyone. Hi from Singapore. So 2 points actually today I would like to share my views. First point is in my previous organization, which is Garanti BBVA in Turkey, Istanbul, we also had detailed exercises about this topic. And as we all know, this is a topic that has been in discussion maybe like more than 10 years, maybe like in 15 years. Will bank branches going to extinct? So this is the first point. And the second point is this invitation for this presentation came to me very timely because it just came after I had a heuristic research in 3 of the competitor bank, private bank branches, and I found quite good insights from those. So I would like to also share them as well. Firstly, I would like to share with some info, a very brief info about Standard Chartered for those of you who don't know. Firstly, I'm responsible for mobile channel in Standard Chartered in 2023 retail operations. Standard Chartered has 57 markets and 87% is coming from Asia and AME markets. I will not go through all the details, but I just want to highlight here Standard Chartered is a unique bank in terms of the footprint. This is just the CCIB, our transactional banking flow, but I think it's showing quite well where we are operating. So Standard Chartered is operating in Singapore, Hong Kong, China, Korea, Taiwan as bigger markets, but also Dubai and many Africa markets. That's why actually I'm sharing as like quite unique footprint in this sense. So firstly, I would like to start with this. For a long time, branch network, having branches in many cities or in wide area, seem as the moat for a bank, seem as the competitive advantage, because this is your only chance as banks. This is your only chance to reach to customers, to make them your customer, or even for their transactions. However, with the mobile uprise, with the online banking, digital onboarding, actually the branch, as we, I think all agree here, the branches are losing their importance for these reasons. Maybe it's not the right thing to say they are losing their importance, but they are evolving in one sense. So this is a slide showing actually in the last decade how the branches evolved in these different geographies. And when we look in the developed countries, it was decreasing, while in the emerging markets, it was still increasing, because in the emerging markets, the branches were still needed to reach out to customer. However, with the COVID effect, actually we saw a huge decline in almost all the geographies because the customers start to use the digital banking and more than that, mobile banking. So the question is, are these branches facing extinction? Will we have the branches in the future? When this question is asked by financial brand to around 300 senior executives, C-levels in the banks, they said that, or 90% believe that it will decrease, but it will not extinct. It will decrease between 0 to 25%. So probably the branches will be in our lives, but the reason for the branches will be changed. This is a photo from a unique Apple store in Singapore. This is the, I think, one and only floating Apple store. If you think this is Apple store is actually a retail store, however, they are not positioning themselves as retail store, but as experience stores. When you go to Apple store, maybe you can compare multiple products. Even in Apple website, you can compare, for example, all the iPhones and all the technical details will be there. However, the context will be missing in most of the times. When you go to Apple store, the context will come to you by the Apple sales rep. In two times in the last 1 year, I went to Apple store. I left the store with the cheaper product, but which is more suitable to me. And in this heuristic research I just mentioned to you, I visited 3 priority banking branches as well as Apple store, because I believe that they are the best in the customer experience, especially in the branch or especially in the retail area. When I discussed with the sales rep, that person mentioned that actually they don't have they are not incentivized by their sales, but the customer experience. So they are not trying to sell you more or the more expensive products, but they are trying to understand you better to give you the best suitable products. I think this is where the banking or the branches are going. The transactions are going away from the banks, and we also hear from different attendees today, different presentations today, that actually on one side, smart assistants are becoming more and more important. Mobile banking was already very important for like last 10, 15 years, and transactions, all the sales are going to that. But still there is one thing missing. There are complex products. So I agree with one element that customers still need the branches in crisis, but they also need branches or human touch, let's say, for complex products. Let me give you one example. Here in Singapore, we have retirement scheme for the non-residents or non-nationals, I can say. But there are many complex things that you need to check to be eligible for that. Or there are also different criteria if you want to take it or not. Just for the instance, if you keep your money 10 years, then you are getting without tax. But if you need to leave the country early on, then maybe it's not the best choice for you. And like this, there are many things that you need to consider. And if you need to understand all of it, maybe you need to spend like hours, maybe days. But if you do this with investment advisor, it will take maybe half an hour, maybe an hour for you to understand and take the right decision. This is same for many complex products like mortgage or life insurance, whenever the criteria are becoming a bit complex. This is one case. Another point is on the right-hand side, you see this is UOB branch, privileged banking, and they even have, I'm not even talking about coffee or snacks that they are providing or more open area that they are bringing their relationship managers with the customer, but they even provide wellness area because they don't approach this as like only financial health, but they are even caring about the wellness. This just one photo from UOB, but this same example or similar experiences I see in the competitors also we have in Standard Chartered. So the bank branches are evolving, as I mentioned, and they are evolving into more like human touch areas or creating bind with the customer, giving an advisory services for more complex products. Or another point is completely different from these, is like creating a common space as mentioned in İşbank example by Yasemin, to create communal spaces for the youth to meet with the bank for the first place and continue their journey, engage with the bank going forward. So this is the main benefit for the customers. Convenience, human touch, especially when needed for the complex products. Then what is the benefit for the customer when we, for the bank? When we look, definitely it is engaged customers, increased sales for the complex products. How we are approaching in Standard Chartered is, firstly, we have the main channel as mobile. And we don't believe in omni-channel, but we believe in opti-channel approach, which means that mobile is our only channel. Then to invest in any other channel, we need a strong rationale. So, and whatever the customer cannot complete in mobile, chatbot is there to help the customer with the fallback of RM or contact center or chat or click to chat to reply the customer response. And we are positioning the contact center branch or RMs as our assisted channels just for the complex products. And we are trying to reserve these for more affluent segment. Our target for the our future target is for the branches, making our 85% of our branches affluent focused and moving all the transactions, all the mass transactions and servicing needs to the digital channels, mostly to mobile, so that we can create more engagement and also with the rational, underlying rational that customers who are using mobile and having their needs served in mobile are becoming happier customers, more engaged customers, and their lifetime value also increase with the bank. So that's all from my side. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Abuk. I think you at the end of the day, you are making a sort of summary of what we've been thinking and seeing. So there is, there isn't much time for now for discussion left, but I think the best thing for me would be just to ask you, each of you, one single question, and then making a wrap up. So if you just say around the table. So actually, yeah, just one single question, which is, I know that this is sort of crystal ball, but do you believe that in 15 years from now, there will be still branches? So that's the question, not in 5 years. I'm thinking about 15 years. So in 15 years, since this is a slow transformation, this is an industry which is complex and is slower than the other ones in order to transform, because it's complex, it's regulated, it's about people's money. So it's not about having fun. No, it's about people's money. It's real stuff. And but the truth is, the matter is that you are all working on major transformations, and the question is more, okay, we can understand what is going to happen in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but what do you think is going to happen in the next 15 years? So they will still be there? I don't know who wants to answer first.
Yes, is the short answer. I think they will still be there. Will it be in the same form? I think the colleagues also presented different formats of banking for the future. So whether you will still call it a traditional branch like you call it today might be different. But yes, the complex process will not disappear. I mean, 15 years ago, they said that in 5 years' time, all cars would be self-driving. We're in the meantime so many years further. I don't see it happening in the next 5 years. So the same thing is going to happen in the financial industry. A lot of the processes can be digitized, but some of the complex things clients just want to see and speak, and that is not going to change. It's a social thing as well, and that is not going to change.
Okay.
Roberto, I think one way or another, they will remain. I don't know if they will have, or we will have the physical presence of the branches, or they will be completely in the metaverse maybe. but one thing will not change is the human touch for some transactions or some complex products will remain same, and we will need that human touch, although ChatGPT will be solving our 95% of the questions.
Okay.
I was basically about to say the same. Human beings will be there. Is it physical presence and physical touch, or being in online space? This can change a lot. If you would ask, what about in 50 years? I have no clue. In 15, in the Czech Republic, definitely we will have people still around. People around people.
Okay.
I think KBC example was a very nice one. I mean, when you were starting saying the more digital we become, the more human we need to be. No, it was close to that. I could
Yes, indeed,
I could sign it
that's the
immediately.
case. Yeah, and that's I mean, people, and that's the social thing I refer to. Right? People need the social contact. For that reason alone, you will need a branch or a place where people can meet.
Okay. Yasmin, anything from you?
I agree with my colleagues. People need human touch, and getting relationship is more important than ever because everything is digital. You can get your customer going churn. You may even not realize they are churning. So we will need to offer some relationship points for our customers as well. But I don't think there will be any more transactions like today after 15 years.
Okay, so I think we all agree that humans will survive somehow, and the human touch will survive. There are different ways you can reshape your own branches, but it's clear that in the short term there is going to be a reduction in terms of number, a move which is happening already, so it's not a surprise, from the transactional things to the advisory part. That would be what definitely will probably remain in the branches, but advisory made by humans. And that could be for mortgages, that could be for investments or for insurance, and so on. There will be somebody advising the customers. The big question, and we will see also with Yasmin test how this is going to be the rollout, is going to be really how banks can reimagine themselves also from a relationship standpoint with the clients, not just about financial services, but trying to enlarge this type of relationship also from a physical standpoint, which means, as you are trying to do, opening up to new partners, business partners, opening up to the clients to become a sort of community, being something more than just a financial service provider. And that's definitely a very very interesting challenge. And I hope you're going to be successful, but that will mean that financial services will have a heart. You know what I mean? It's not just functions. It's something more than just doing banking. And so that would be my hope that your test will be successful. And that's it. That's it for today. I want to really thank all of you because the presentations were very interesting. They are showing that there is a lot going on, and there are different approaches, different stages, different obviously coming also from different backgrounds and different dimensions and international geographical position, but they are changing. So everything is changing in terms of retailing, and banking cannot change itself. And this is part of the digitalization. So the other big question will be how much the physical branches will be digitalized themselves, no? So, but you have been showing that this is definitely possible, and you are working on that. I personally, when I was managing KBank a few years ago, we were working a lot on exactly these themes, how you can keep being engaging from one side, but efficient and technological from the other side. So that's the challenge. So thank you very much. for the participants, for the audience again, and just a brief information on the upcoming events on our community. After having talked about humans, now we will be talking about artificial intelligence with 2 events, one in October and the Wednesday, the 15th, yes, the 15th of November and the 18th of October. So the first one in October is going to be on convergence of data and AI, and the one in November is going to be about the generative AI. Everybody is talking about generative AI. Somebody's starting to do something at the very beginning, and we'll be showing and discussing what's going on also in these cases, which are obviously at the very initial phase and initial thoughts. But it's good that we also will be talking about the generative AI as a community and share thoughts and insights. Thank you very much for everyone again, and I hope you enjoyed the webinar and you will be participating to the next ones. And if I can say something, you will bring your colleagues to the community, try to have them participating to our events, to the content that Qorus is always providing, because there's a lot of content also on the website and it's free for those who are enrolled into the Qorus program. So I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good day. And for who is in Singapore, have a good evening. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye to all. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.